The 2026 edition of the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open hasn't even officially begun. And yet Abu Dhabi is already vibrating with energy. This isn't the usual polite pre-tournament buzz. This feels like a headline act arriving for a world tour. And at the center of it all, Alex Eala. The arrival that changed everything tennis players typically land quietly. Private exit, discreet hotel transfer, practice session, business as usual. Not this time. When Eala touched down in the UAE, it wasn't just another stop on the tour calendar. It was a moment, spark. And within hours, that spark became a wildfire across social media. A short clip from her final practice before departure, intense, locked in, focused, began circulating. Then came the arrival post. Within minutes, engagement exploded across platforms from Manila to Dubai. And here's why that matters. The UAE is home to a massive Filipino expatriate community. Nearly 1 million strong. That's not a niche audience. That's a movement waiting for a rallying point. They've found it. But louder tennis has traditionally thrived on etiquette. Applause between points. Silence before serves. But what we witnessed at the recent Australian Open already hinted that something new is happening. When Eala played in Melbourne, outer courts overflowed. Security had to adjust. Schedules had to shift. The atmosphere felt more like a football derby than a qualifying match. Now that wave has reached the Middle East. Reports from practice sessions in Abu Dhabi describe unusually large crowds. Phone cameras raised. Chants echoing. Energy that feels closer to a Davis Cup tie than a standard WTA 500 opener. Organizers are adapting quickly. Security briefings intensified. Ticket demand for her round of 32 match has reportedly surged within hours. And we're still days away from her stepping onto center court. Context is everything. Let's rewind 2 years. In 2024, Eala walked into Abu Dhabi as a hopeful teenager ranked outside the top 150. She was promising, talented, interesting, but not yet inevitable. Fast forward to 2026. She arrives as a top 50 player, a Miami Open semi-finalist, proven threat to elite names, a symbol of Southeast Asian tennis resurgence. Her semi-final run at the Miami Open wasn't just a breakthrough, it was validation. She didn't sneak through draws. She overpowered established contenders and stood toe-to-toe with the tour's heaviest hitters. Physically stronger. Serve consistently in the 170 to 180 km/h range. Forehand heavier. Mental resilience sharper. This is not the same athlete the UAE saw 2 seasons ago. This is a contender. Why the UAE is reacting? The surprise isn't that she has fans. The surprise is the scale. Community groups in Dubai and Abu Dhabi are organizing coordinated trips to the stadium. Social feeds are filled with flags, watch party plans, and countdowns. For organizers, this changes logistics. For sponsors, this changes value. For the tournament itself, this changes the narrative. Eala isn't just filling a slot in the draw. She's driving the conversation. The bigger picture, this moment signals something powerful about the direction of women's tennis. The global map is expanding. A Filipina star commanding attention in the UAE. A Turkish challenger waiting in the draw. A WTA 500 event suddenly becoming a cultural flashpoint. That's evolution in real time. It proves the sport is no longer confined to traditional power bases. It belongs to new regions, new audiences, new identities. And Abu Dhabi might just be witnessing a turning point. What happens next? When Eala walks onto that court for her opening match, it won't feel like a standard first-round encounter. It will feel like an arrival ceremony. The crowd will be louder. The stakes will feel heavier. The spotlight brighter. Because this isn't just about rankings anymore. It's about representation. It's about momentum. It's about a young star realizing she now carries a movement with her. And if the early scenes are any indication, the desert is ready to roar. Stay locked in, because this tournament just became must-watch tennis. Let's slow it down. Frame 1. She's mid-rally in practice. Heavy forehand. Full body rotation. No smile. No theatrics. Just ruthless focus. The body language says, business. Frame 2. A close-up between points. A set. Is locked. Sweat already forming. This isn't a vacation stop on tour. It's preparation for battle. Frame 3. The mirror selfie on arrival. Casual, understated. Caption simple. But the location tag. Abu Dhabi. That tag did the damage. The background noise in the practice clip. You can hear it. Fans reacting even during drills. Phones raised. Murmurs swelling. That sound is the story. Because in tennis, practice courts are usually quiet. This one wasn't. Why thousands are waiting at the gates? The UAE isn't reacting to hype. It's reacting to representation. The Filipino diaspora in the Emirates is enormous. Nurses, engineers, hospitality workers, entrepreneurs, people building lives far from home. And suddenly, one of their own lands not as a prospect, but as a legitimate global contender. When Alex Eala steps onto court, it feels communal. The comment sections tell the truth. Bring it home. We are proud. Abu Dhabi is ready. This isn't casual support. It's coordinated energy. Community groups organizing buses. Families planning weekend stadium trips. Flags being unpacked. That's why security is tightening. That's why ticket demand has spiked. That's why this feels different. The digital age effect. We're in a new era of sport. Momentum is no longer built slowly through newspaper columns and highlight reels. It's built through engagement velocity. Shares, comments, watch time. Global reaction. The viral clip wasn't powerful because it was dramatic. It was powerful because it signaled presence. In today's tennis landscape, narrative spreads faster than rankings update. And right now, Eala's narrative is explosive. Traditional media circles sometimes underestimate that digital groundswell, especially when it emerges outside Europe and North America. But the numbers don't lie. Noise equals influence. Influence equals pressure. Pressure changes tournaments. The match against Zeynep Sonmez. Now let's pivot to the tennis, because this opener against Zeynep Sonmez is not ceremonial. Dangerous. Sonmez arrives with Australian Open confidence and a grinder's mentality. She absorbs pace. She extends rallies. She forces one more ball. Against that, Eala must land the lefty serve wide on the ad side. Attack early with the forehand. Step inside the baseline and prevent rhythm. Finish points at net instead of resetting rallies. If this becomes a long, physical exchange, Sonmez grows stronger. If it stays on Eala's terms, first strike tennis, it tilts toward the Filipina. Why this tournament is a 2026 tipping point. This isn't just another WTA 500. The Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open sits at a critical calendar moment. Strong results here. Build ranking cushion before the European swing. A strengthened seeding position for Roland Garros. Solidify top 50 credibility. But beyond points, this is about aura. 2 years ago, she arrived as a teenager ranked outside the top 150. Now she returns as the Miami semi-finalist from the Miami Open, or a proven big-stage competitor, or a commercial magnet, or a cultural symbol. Win here, and 2026 accelerates. Lose early. The momentum cools, at least temporarily. That's the razor's edge. Why traditionalists are surprised. Some analysts still see tennis through an old map. They expect crowd frenzies in Paris, packed stadiums in New York, historic buzz in Melbourne at the Australian Open. But Abu Dhabi, Filipina star, a diaspora-driven surge. That wasn't in their forecast. And yet here we are. The bigger meaning when Eala hits that first serve in Abu Dhabi. She's not just playing a round of 32 match. She's carrying expectation. She's carrying pride. She's carrying the energy of nearly 1 million expatriates who see themselves reflected in her climb. That's why the gates are crowded. That's why the clips went viral. That's why this feels like more than tennis. The Queen of the East has arrived in the Middle East. Now the only question left is this. Can she turn digital momentum into desert dominance? 'Cause if she can, 2026 might be the year the sport fully recalibrates around her. Remember what happened in Melbourne at the Australian Open? She was scheduled on an outer court. Routine placement. Nothing dramatic. Then thousands showed up. Back 10 deep. Climbing for vantage points. Chanting her name so loudly the umpire had to pause. That wasn't a coincidence. That was a preview. And now that energy has traveled, concentrated, organized, amplified to the UAE. The organizing power of the Asian fanbase. Some analysts look at a ranking, number 49, and see a solid mid-tier player. They are missing the real metric. Engagement velocity, diaspora mobilization, community coordination. WhatsApp groups across Dubai and Abu Dhabi are organizing transport convoys to Zayed Sports City. Community associations are aligning schedules. Families are planning entire weekends around a single match time. When Alex Eala walks out for her opener, it may not sound like a tennis match. It may sound like a title fight headlined by Manny Pacquiao. That's the scale of emotional investment. Full circle. Abu Dhabi 2024-2026. Let's rewind. February 2024. She arrives in Abu Dhabi ranked outside the top 180. Wild card. A promising junior from the Rafa Nadal Academy. Talented, yes. Polished, not yet. Dangerous. Not consistently. Now fast forward to February 2026. She returns as but top 50 player or a Miami semi-finalist from the Miami Open, or a proven giant slayer, or a commercial and cultural force that climb from outside 150 into the top 50 in 2 seasons, is brutal. The WTA Tour is unforgiving. Only players with elite trajectories survive that ascent. The underdog narrative. Finish. She is not here to gain experience. She is here to win the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open. The matchup. Zeynep Sonmez, her first opponent. Zeynep Sonmez. Ranking-wise, this favors Eala. Stylistically, it favors Eala. Surface-wise, it strongly favors Eala. Abu Dhabi's medium-slow hard courts reward heavy spin and baseline control. Precisely the environment where Eala's lefty forehand becomes lethal. That lefty lasso forehand. When she sets her feet and rips cross-court, she dictates against almost anyone. Sonmez is solid, disciplined, but she doesn't possess the same explosive weaponry. The real danger here isn't tactical, psychological. The home field paradox. Even in a neutral country, the crowd could make this feel like Manila. And that's a double-edged sword. Energy fuels aggression. Expectation tightens muscles. We saw that dynamic recently in high-pressure moments where home support became weight rather than lift. When thousands chant your name, the unspoken message is simple. You must win. That's heavy. The sociological shift. Here's why the UAE is genuinely surprised. The Emirates host global events, Formula One, UFC, golf majors, typically drawing Western expats and local elites. Eala brings a demographic transformation. She brings the Filipino working class and professional class into premium sporting venues at scale. Food vendors reportedly increasing stock. Security coordinating high-density movement plans. Community groups organizing banners and welcome committees. This isn't standard tennis tourism. This is grassroots mobilization. And if the airport rumors are true, banners, drums, flags, it would rival the kind of welcome once reserved for icons like Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal. She's 20 years old. Let that sink in. The 2026 stakes. She starts the week ranked number 49. The goal? Top 20. Maybe higher. To reach that level, WTA 500 performances matter enormously. Abu Dhabi is the launchpad of the Middle East swing. A deep run here feeds confidence and ranking momentum into Doha and Dubai. Technically, here's what we're watching for. Serve. Has she added more free points? The serve remains her most scrutinized weapon. Net game. Her doubles instincts are excellent. Will she finish points forward instead of grinding unnecessarily? Physicality. Can she sustain 3-hour battles in desert conditions? The viral training footage showed fluid movement, clean ball striking, and serious intent. But practice is rehearsal. Match day is judgment. The tectonic shift. This isn't clickbait. It's a recalibration. A 20-year-old Filipina commanding the attention of an entire sporting region. A diaspora mobilizing like a national team is playing. A WTA 500 suddenly feeling like a Davis Cup tie. That's not normal. That's transformation. For organizers, it's a commercial dream. For Sonmez, it's a hostile environment in neutral territory. For the rest of the tour, it's a warning. Alex Eala is no longer the future. She's the present. She has landed. The gates are open. The fans are ready. Now comes the only thing that truly matters. The first ball struck under the lights at Zayed Sports City. And when it does, the Abu Dhabi Open may never feel the same again.